Welcome back to the Wanderpreneur Podcast Show. Today I have Edie with us, who is an event coordinator and a travel consultant. I wanted to bring her on because I found her about 2 years ago, started following her, kind of got jealous of all the cool places that she goes or goes to help out. And it was a no-brainer to invite her on the show because, we're about business adventures, lifestyle harmony, and, of course, traveling. So she has a business that incorporates all of that.
Hi, man. Welcome to the Wanderless Wandermore Show with your host, Christy Candelario, a movement for life, for freedom in life. Watch ya. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Wanderless, Wandermore, helping you become an entrepreneur. Wanderless, Wandermore, travel around the world, let us go explore. Wanderless, Wandermore, expert advices for sure. Come and be guided and supported by this podcast show. We give enough insight just to help you grow. Special guest experts, business adventures about great lifestyles and so much more. Launching, transforming and leveling up businesses globally since 2012. Stay tuned and wonder less so you can wonder more.
Hi, my name is Edie Zuckerwar, as you said, and everybody gets it messed up. Don't worry about that. So, I plan events, particularly weddings, and I have planned retreats in the past, and also corporate events. I also do travel, which I've been doing since 1987. It's in my blood, and I don't think I'm ever going to get away from that. So that's what I do.
Me either. It's like the wanderlust in me. I'm on a vacation, and by the time we're coming back, I'm already planning the next one. And then I see other people online posting photos. I'm jealous. Man, I wish I could be there. That's probably the only time I'm jealous is when I'm looking at other people's vacations.
I know.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring you on today to kind of talk about maybe how to help someone pick where to have an event. I know that you do weddings, but I figured we could kind of talk about some of the stuff and then kind of incorporate it, but not so much because I know it's not a retreat that we're talking about. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's great. That's absolutely awesome. I'm happy to help with that. Happy to talk about that.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead. Do you want to?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So basically, there are two things. An event and a retreat are kind of different and kind of the same. They have some things that are similar and some things that are not. Obviously, you're going to a place that's really cool. If you're doing a retreat, and normally it's more of a spa-like environment, so it's not like a corporate event where you're going to have a meeting every single day. A retreat incorporates more yoga, meditation, Zen-like relaxation, and the groups are usually smaller. They'll go anywhere from 6 people to 50 people. Anything bigger than that is typically not really a retreat, because when you have 100 to 300-400 people, it's just not really a retreat. So it's more like exactly. That's an event. So people get them, I think, a little confused. So an event, a lot of times you'll have more of, you're in a hotel or on a cruise or somewhere where you have a strict schedule that you're following. It's, you'll have okay, we're going to be doing A, B, C, and it's mostly lecturing. You're listening. It's like a Tony Robbins thing, You go to a Tony Robbins function and you're sitting there listening or jumping up and down, whatever you're doing. You're at that event and you're involved. But it's okay. We start at 8, we finish at midnight. We start at 8, we finish at midnight every single day. And there's a lot of structure. Retreats can be a little bit less. So
relaxed, yeah.
We'll be more relaxed, we do the function, we do what we're going there for. So if you're going to be training on, I don't think they're training on sales funnels, but just say you're training on sales funnels. Okay, so just say you're training on sales funnels. You're gonna have that incorporated, but you're also gonna make it really, really, really relaxed and fun. And it's I want to go to Bali. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Bali and do this. This is fun.
Yeah, I would also say that the retreats have more freedom for you as the person coming because you're not with your pen and paper writing everything down or with your laptop. There's times, but it's more like friendships are built, I feel like.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's a smaller group. It's a smaller group. So you have the opportunity to build, I think for businesses, I think retreats are really good because you can build a stronger, tight niche kind of, or a group rather. And then you can turn around and those people can, they say, wow, we had a really great adventure and blah, blah, blah. And we want to go here again. And they start talking. And the next thing you know, you got more people going on your retreat next year. So it's a good thing.
Well, I'm glad that you explained the difference because I had my retreat for my mastermind clients and it was very laid back. I mean, we had our lessons from like 9 in the morning to maybe like 3 and lunch in between that. And then we would like go out and do something fun, but it wasn't like 9 o'clock we're doing this, 10 o'clock we're doing this, by 11 we're doing this. We're going to have a lunch and learn or whatever it's called for lunch. Like it wasn't that structured and we didn't bring in guest people. And I feel like as for events, that's when you bring in guest people to come and speak. As retreats, it's mainly just you and you're hanging out with your hopefully dream clients.
Exactly. Hopefully with your dream clients. Like I'm going to what's called Cruise 360 in April. And there are going to be 2,500 travel agents there. And it's going to be class after class after class. And then we do cruise inspections, class after class, cruise inspections, lunch. So it's a different format than a real casual, relaxed,
It's not necessarily a vacation. It's just a business trip.
Right, exactly. But it's still fun. It's still fun. And I think it's more, like you said, lighthearted, relaxed, working. But there are some, I think, coaches out there that do retreats and they're like, no, we're going to work the whole time, so, but I've seen a few of those and I'm just like, whoa, no, you're missing the point here. It's got to be a little relaxed for people.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell us more about the event side of it? Like what should someone do if they are wanting to plan an event? So what would my first step be?
Well, it depends on whether you're planning a retreat or whether it's actually pretty similar. So
like
the one thing,
80 people.
The one thing that I highly recommend is giving people advance notice. Okay. Getting organized before you start advertising this thing, making sure you have all your ducks in a row, figure out what hotel you're going to be using, what venue. If you're doing a retreat, are you going to Bali? Are you going to do this in your backyard? Are you doing it at home? Where are you going to be doing it? And then you have to think, okay, well, who are your clients? Are they going to be coming from Australia? Are they coming from the United States? You have to give them time. Something I think I see with a lot of coaches is they plan these retreats or they plan these events and they don't give people time. And then they wonder why they can't fill their rooms, why they can't fill the space. And it drives me kind of bananas because I'm like, look, you got to give people 6 months. If they're coming from Australia, they need that time to buy their tickets. They need that time to make arrangements for their business. I mean, they're traveling halfway across the world and people don't think about that. They don't stop to think. And even if it's in your backyard, even if you're having a retreat stay, in New York City, okay, let's scratch New York City. I don't see New York City in my brain. California. Let's say you go to California. You're still having people come from different places. I mean, I just did an event it was January. There are people that came from Europe. There are people that came from Australia. You need the time. They have to have that. So I think that's like a big number one step. So
how far in advance? So you were saying 6 months, right?
I think for me, unless you're doing something local and you're having local people coming to it. I mean, if you're having only people, say I live in South Carolina and I'm only inviting people that are in South Carolina that can drive to the event, you don't need more than 3 months. If you're planning an event where people are going to be coming from all over the countryside, all over the world, you need to give them at least 6 months. And you'll get more people coming. If you want 100 people, you're not going to be fighting for those 100 people because you're giving them 6 months notice and saying, okay, look, there's 6 months. And they're going, hey, I can make a vacation out of this. Because the truth of the matter is, depending on where it is, they can also bring their family and their family could go hang out and do stuff while they're busy at the retreat or the event.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I have a client that's planning out her event in Scotland and that's where she's from, but most of her clientele's in Canada, the United States,
right.
Maybe in the tropical islands. Like you sometimes live there.
Yeah, I do.
And
I do events there.
and whenever we started working together, she told me about this retreat and she was going to start planning it later down the road. And it's at the end of August. And I was like, it's January. Let's just start promoting it. And we have it like 50% full. So I think that's amazing. But we had to give those people time. Like, even though they may be getting the registration done in January, that means they have all of that time to look at flights and to plan it out and save up for an international airplane trip.
Yeah, exactly.
That's more expensive.
And not only that, but say, for example, you decide you're going to host it and you're going to book a hotel for the clients. Okay, so you are giving, you know, and if you do like block space at hotels, a lot of times you can get 10 to 20% off the regular rate. So that's a good thing to do. But you want to get those rooms booked quickly because you don't want to be responsible for the rooms if you don't sell them out. So that's why you want to book early and give clients the opportunity to be able to get their money together and show up at the event.
And this kind of brings up a point for me because we were kind of mentioning this before, and then I've heard it too, where you're planning your event and like you don't start investing until they say, or somebody says out there, not to start investing in that kind of stuff until you have people that are actually purchasing the tickets to come to the event. But if it's so far in advance and you don't even have something like booked on their calendar and you've been promoting this really cool place for this exact week, and then you get to it and it turns out it's already been booked by someone else, like that will screw up everything. So you want to reach out and talk to somebody and get your name on the calendar so they are aware. It's not like you have to pay in advance that day.
Well, that's true. That's true. With a lot of different venues, depending on where it is, you know, you can have, you know, you want to book the venue ahead of time. You don't want to wait till the last minute to book the venue. Like you said, let's promote everything. Let's make our money and then turn around and go, oh, by the way, this is the hotel we're staying at. Oh, wait a minute. It's not available anymore. That would be one of the first things you do, is decide where you're going to be staying. And then that way you can give that to your guest. Okay, hey, well, I'm planning this event or this retreat on these days. Here's the hotel. We have a great room block already, so you can stay here at a discounted price. It's like 20% off the regular rate. Your airline tickets, you know, I don't book airline tickets. I have, you know, the capacity to do that. But you can normally get something cheaper on Kayak or whatever. And, but you can, at least they have the opportunity, like I said, to book everything ahead of time. And then that way you're not, you know, they're going to a place, it's available. But you're right. I have seen people do that where they'll go ahead and book everything else for the business part of it, but they won't book the hotel because they're not sure, because they don't want to get themselves, you know, they don't want to make themselves responsible for that. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And then you're like, oh my God, what do I do? And then there's nothing available because they just happen to book during high season. Like Las Vegas is really notorious for that. People want to, I did one event for a girl and she was just like, oh, I'm going to do Las Vegas. I said, what dates? These dates. Every hotel is booked. They've got but I've already been telling all my clients about this. Well, here's the deal. Did you bother to call the convention center to find out what's there during that week? No. And the place was packed. Every hotel was pretty much sold out because they have this huge convention that comes in there every year. They have conventions all the time, but they had one in particular that was like, it takes over the whole strip. So you have to know that's something you have.
I feel like in the summer in Vegas, that's where it's like event after event after event.
It is.
It's hard to do it there.
It is, yeah.
And sure. You're bringing up plane tickets. And recently I got this really cool new app, so I just want to mention it to everyone. It's called Hipmunk. And you put the dates and where you want to travel to. And it's so cool because you get notifications and it will be like, your flight went down $50 today. Your flight went up. Don't buy today. Like, it reminds you, and it's so cool.
That's a really cool app. I didn't even know about that one. Thank you very much for telling me about it.
Yeah. Well, I just learned from somebody else that is, she travels like her whole entire summer. She's a teacher and she always goes backpacking. And she was like, Christy, you need to get this app. And you don't have it? I'm like, no. And now I love it. Like, I'll get notifications when things are going on sale. I'm like, ooh, Awesome.
There are so many apps out there for travel. It's like insanity. It's like every time you turn around, there's a new app. And I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
I love
great.
it too. I have a lot of apps.
Join the club.
Yeah. So what do you think? A minute ago, we were talking about the difference between a retreat and an event.
Right.
And I wanted to ask, in your opinion, how long do you think each one should be?
Well, that depends on what you're going to do. You have to remember that people have a life, okay? They have a business, they have a family, and a lot of people have little kids, and they can't be gone for a week at a time. So, I would make it no more than 3 days if you're going to do something like that. Like my crazy, like next month, I'm going for a whole week. And it gets to be very expensive when you do that.
It does.
When you're staying at a hotel for a whole week and then you have to fly and all that. So, and you play for the event on top of that. So it gets to be kind of crazy. So I definitely would not make it more than 3 days. And unless you're on a cruise, 4 days max. On a cruise, they can bring their family.
I like that.
So,
Yeah, I like that.
They can bring their family. And then that way they, everybody has fun.
Well, good. Yeah, because I feel like that's one where some people are kind of like tripped up sometimes. And I think it has to do with like knowing who your ideal client is or who this ideal person coming to your event is. Right. So you know whether or not if they have kids or a busy life, and are you making them go to your event in like the busiest time of their life? Like, are the kids still in school? Are they doing like the state testing or anything like that? So it's important to know who this ideal person is coming to your event so you can really plan it out in the right time for their lives and like cost efficient wise too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then my other question would be, because I'm not event coordinator, but I have clients that love throwing events and stuff. So I feel like I've been thrown into it now. And I have one coming up in October that is going to be more of an event, not a retreat like I did at the beginning of this year for select few clients. For an event, do you always see the people that they just buy tickets for it, or do you also see people do all inclusive? Because this is something I see the clients go back and forth, the ones that are trying to plan something and they can't figure out. So I thought it would be cool to ask you that since you're the expert.
All-inclusive, are you talking about like an all-inclusive resort? Or are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about like, I want to have something in Miami, Florida. And I'm going to get the hotels, we're going to have the event, and I'm going to have food included. But my question is, would you do all that, or would you just be like, here's your discount for it, and you're going to get lunch because you're going to be here with us at lunch, but we're not paying for your dinner because you're going to go out and about?
That's what you're talking about. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I have like, in my heart, I kind of like things being all inclusive, only because I think that people travel far. You're charging them for, you're charging them to be there. You're charging them, they're paying for airline tickets, they're paying for a hotel, they're taking time off to be there. And I just think that it's kind of nice to have that extra little thing. Now, as you brought up all-inclusive, I'm sitting here, my brain's going, oh, wait a minute, why not do it at an all-inclusive property that includes everything? There are a lot of all-inclusive properties, like within the Caribbean, especially Dominican Republic, Mexico, and different islands in the Caribbean that cater to say couples or singles, I should say. So no children are allowed. It's just adults. Or you can have other places like beaches, which is a Sandals property in Turks and Caicos that includes everybody, family. And if you do that, then all their food, everything is included, just like a cruise, everything's included. They don't have to pay for that.
And typically I feel like it comes out cheaper.
It does. It does come out cheaper, much cheaper if you do it that way. If you're footing the bill for the all-inclusive, say for example, in Miami, which there are no all-inclusives, and you're paying for they're paying for the hotel.
Getting a personal chef or something.
Right. You're doing the food, you're doing everything else, then it gets to be very expensive for you. But if you switch it up and say, okay, well, I'm going to put them on a cruise, or I'm going to put them at an all-inclusive property in the Caribbean, then it becomes a completely different ballgame, because they pay for the hotel, which includes all their drinks, all their foods, all their activities. Some of them include scuba diving. Some of them include a lot of things. So when they have that free time, they're able to go and do things and not just sit around and, twiddle their thumbs. Not that they're going to twiddle their thumbs in Miami, but
yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's a very good point to bring up, and I feel like comparing someone else's retreat, like, because ours is in Mexico coming up in October, and comparing the price for that compared to the price in Miami, it was like,
ridiculous.
Man, I'm saving a lot of money over here.
Yeah, Mexico is really cheap.
Step out of the United States.
Yeah, Dominican Republic. Well, passports are a big thing. Make sure people have passports, for sure. But definitely Mexico, Dominican Republic. Those are two of the places that are dirt cheap. You can get stuff for, well, as you see, it's so much. It's really cheap, and the airfare is not bad either because you can do a consolidator airfare. And fly there. Consolidator airfares, companies that purchase blocks of space from airlines and then they resell them at a lower rate. So, because the airline may not be able to sell it or whatever. So you can get really decent rates going to Mexico, especially Mexico and Dominican Republic.
And how do you set that up?
A travel agent.
Love it.
Hello. So a travel agent can book consolidator rates. And basically they're like the same airlines. It'll be like, American or whatever. Or sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's actually a private jet that they have and they use. And the tickets will be like sometimes 25% less.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's really cool.
And Europe too. It's a great way to get to Europe. Consolidator fares.
I know. I need to get my ticket for Scotland.
Yeah,
I need to do that.
Yep.
Wow. I feel like this has been really helpful. Do you have anything else that you want to bring up about planning an event?
Just do it early. Just make sure you take your clients into account when you're, planning the event. Don't think about yourself. And, I've talked to this one person or this one coach, and she's like, well, I'm just going to get them water. I'm not paying for anything. I'm not giving them breakfast. I'm not giving them food. To me, that's kind of selfish because it's all about you. It's not about them. And then it has to be about them as well because they're the ones paying a lot of money to get there. And not only that, but they are your clients. You want them to spread the news. You want them to say, hey, I love this girl. She's amazing. You want your business to grow. And if you treat them as, with kid gloves and gold, they're going to be definitely coming back and they're going to be spreading your name.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, being really nice to people and taking everything into account when you're planning an event. It's not all about you.
Yeah. Love your people so they love you back.
That would be
super important.
Yep. Love your people so they can love you back. That's it. That is it. That's my piece of advice.
Well, before we head out of here, I wanted to ask one more question, which would be, what is your favorite place to go and travel in the Caribbean?
Well, let's see. That's kind of hard.
All of it.
No, actually not at all. I love St. Lucia. St. Lucia is one of my favorite islands in the Caribbean. I love it because it's got the mountains and it's very similar to Hawaii. It's got the black sand beaches. It's got white sand beaches. It's got lots of lush vegetation. The people are really amazing. And the cool thing is it's close enough to Martinique. It's like literally you can see it, Martinique, from St. Lucia. So you can do hops over to Martinique as well. And so you get a French flavor and then you get the St. Lucia flavor, which is kind of British and French mixed in. So it's really neat. It's one of my favorite places to visit.
I'll have to add that to my list.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can go.
And it's very eco-friendly. A lot of the properties there, or I shouldn't say a lot, but several of the properties there, they have these really cool hotels where you only have 3 sides to the hotel. The 4th side is not there. So you've got a clear view out into as in the room is wide open, the birds are coming to visit you. And so it's really cool. You're in the middle of nature and these hotels are like very super cool. And they've got like plunge pools right in the middle and you're in the center of these mountains, the Pitillons, they just jet out. It's just stunning.
Wow. I love it. Yeah. I'm going to have to add that to my list for sure.
Definitely. definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Edie, for being here and talking about event planning to help all of those entrepreneurs listening that maybe don't have somebody in their corner like you, but is an event coordinator and travel consultant, because those are super important to have while you are planning your event, especially if you're planning an event where it's big and major, and there's a lot of things to account for that could go wrong. And if you don't have experience with any kind of planning, then definitely consider hiring someone so you can have help and plan it right and have a successful event. And why don't you tell us where others can find you, just in case they do want to hire you?
Okay. You can find me. I have two companies. I have Edie Zuckerwar Events, and that's Edie at Zuckerwar. I'm going to spell that EDIE at ZUCKERWAR.com. Or you can always reach me on my cell phone, 340-643-2277. And Vista Blue Honeymoons, and that's a separate travel site, but you can reach me at the same number for that. So,
well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure getting to talk to you and
same here.
To hear all about event planning.
Yeah, this is fun. So I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful to have you here.